Congressman Steve Womack is celebrating that in the one big beautiful bill, wildly unpopular with everyone except him, I think, there's a provision that allows for local and state law enforcement agencies to get financial support from the federal government when they help ICE in terrorizing families across our country, across Arkansas, and right here in District 3. Today, I've got a special treat for you. I'm going to have a conversation with Irvin Camacho about a program called 287G, which is the program that allows this kind of law enforcement cooperation. Let's find out what it's all about and what those of us that are concerned about it can do. Hey, Irvin, thanks for having a conversation with me about immigration and particularly the 287G program that Steve Womack is so excited about. Um, Maybe let's start. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you have done in Northwest Arkansas, Springdale in particular, across this region, and specifically the stuff you're up to now.
Sure thing. So thank you for the opportunity to allow me to speak about what's going on. I've been organizing here in Northwest Arkansas since I was 17 years old. So that's about 16 years now, specifically in the immigrant communities, and a lot of that time specifically helping out the undocumented community. So I've been part of almost every, I think every actually, immigrant rights organization, grassroots organization, um, since 2010. And pretty much what we've done is educate people on their rights. We've supported people whenever there's been family separation by ICE. We've confronted politicians at forums and public spaces. We've held DACA clinics around the entire state to help people apply for deferred action for childhood arrivals without having to pay the thousands of dollars that they normally pay attorneys. And I also started a scholarship fund a few years back to help DACA recipients with the full government fee that they have to pay, because that's a big burden for a
Yeah.
lot of people, specifically people that have illnesses, that have family members that have illnesses, or are just going through hardships. So I'm always trying to figure out just different ways to give access to resources to individuals that maybe don't have the same connections or access to resources that I have as
Yeah.
a privileged U.S. citizen.
Mm.
So back last year, we
Mhm.
started IDE, which is the Alliance of Immigrant Respect and Education, specifically because we saw that there was a lot of ICE activity here in Northwest Arkansas, specifically with the Marshallese community,
Yeah.
and just kind of wanted to create an organization to help support them, but also just create a base of organizing so that we can support immigrants in general when Trump would go into office. And so IDE has been active since December of last year. We have about close to 90 members that are parts of different committees. Some folks focus on fighting anti-immigrant legislation. Some folks do public ed, do know your rights forums. Some folks will go out into the community and confirm ICE activity or deny ICE activity,
Mhm.
because sometimes people are scared to go to their job or go pick up their kids from school because they heard that ICE is in the area. So we send people out and they verify, and then we go back to the original social media post and let them know, what's actually happening in that area.
Yeah.
So that's some of the work that we're
Mhm.
doing in IDE. And right now we're just really busy because we feel like immigrants are kind of being attacked from
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and some of that attack is coming unsurprisingly from Steve Womack, our congressman. And I want to show you this tweet. I texted it to you when it first came out, and because I was just kind of blown away by it. So, first of all, Homeland Security tweets out, thanks to POTUS, Trump's one big beautiful bill, ICE has launched a new reimbursement program for state and local law enforcement who partner with DHS to make America safe again. and it shows a Washington Examiner article with the headline that new DHS 287G reimbursement program can revolutionize law enforcement helping ICE. Well, Congressman Womack, very excited about this, retweets this post from Homeland Security and says, "This is a program I leveraged back when I was mayor." He used to be mayor of Rogers before he was congressman. "And I can tell you firsthand, it's a game changer for local and state law enforcement combating illegal immigration. Now, because of investments in the One Big Beautiful Bill, the program is even more effective." Uh, so let's start here with the basics. Irvin, what is 287G?
So 287G is an anti-immigrant program, federal program, where before this year, every sheriff had the ability of signing up to it if they wanted to. Nowadays, with this new law that was passed by Sarah Huckabee's administration, now people are forced to sign up. But before this year, people would volunteer for it, and there's different models of it, so it's not always the same. Sometimes it can be enforcement in the jail when someone gets arrested and taken to the county jail. Then they can get asked what country they come from, and then the jail could tip ICE and say, "Hey, this person is here from a different country. Do you want to come and check to see if they're undocumented or not?" And then eventually that leads to them being sent to a detention center if ICE decides to come pick them up. So before this year, there was only two places that had active 287G programs. One was Benton County, and then the other one was Craighead County. A few years back, Washington County was also active, but Sheriff Helder, who left that office, actually ended the program before he left. So it was just Craighead County and Bang County that had that program active, and they both had the jail enforcement model that was active. There's two other models. One's the warrant program, which is just having a warrant, presenting it to people at their homes, detaining them if it is a real warrant. And then the other one's the task force model, which is a little bit more like out in the community, out in the streets. That's the most aggressive program, which unfortunately the National Guard signed up for that one,
Right,
and they're
right.
in the process of being approved for that. But yeah,
Yeah,
the 287G program has
yeah,
just always been active there in Bang County, and ever since I started organizing, I've heard that Representative Womack has been a huge proponent of that program, and I don't think he understands how it's affected immigrant
yeah,
families for a
yeah.
while now.
So one of the things that 287G does is it blurs the lines of jurisdiction. So someone being in the country undocumented, that is federal jurisdiction. You think about like TV cop shows that people have watched, and there's always like tension about whose jurisdiction this is, who gets to investigate, who's in charge. And basically, like, there's federal laws, there's state laws, there's county and local laws. And so if someone is, pulled over for a traffic ticket, for instance, that could be state, that could be local, depending on what highway they're on, what road they're on. But the law enforcement officer is basically there for that purpose and
Hmm.
not as an agent of the federal government. Uh,
Hmm.
but what 287 essentially does, and correct me if I'm wrong, it
Hmm.
essentially deputizes local and state officers to
Hmm.
become um, law enforcement officers for the federal government. They essentially become deputized federal agents. So, you know, while it would be out of the if someone gets arrested and ends up in county jail, for instance, with your example, it's their immigration status isn't that's a federal issue. It's not this jurisdiction. It shouldn't even come up. But what 287 does is it allows local and county and state agents to become essentially federal agents. Is that right?
Yes, before what we would the only thing that we would see was sheriff's office involvement with that program. So we would see Washington County, we would see Bank County here
Mhm.
in this area. But with this new act, it allows people to kind of reach out and be like, "Hey, I would like to participate in this program,"
Mhm.
like the National Guard did. The National Guard did not have to sign up. They weren't one of the people that were being forced to sign up to one of these three models of the program. But the way that it is now, yes,
Mhm.
they're pretty much hearing everyone out that wants to be involved with this program.
Yeah.
So we don't know. It might even end up being police departments as well. We don't know what that looks like. But now it hurts to see all the different sheriff's office that have picked a one of those models. I will say though that we're asking the warrant type model of 287G is the less hurtful for the community. So since these sheriff's office are being asked to sign up, then we would prefer for them to pick that one over the jail enforcement model or the task force model.
Yeah. Yeah. And just on the National Guard thing, I saw a report today that Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders is mobilizing National Guard members to assist ICE in Little Rock and Fayetteville, and I can't remember the third city. It was in three
Yeah,
cities, and yeah,
it's 18 in Little Rock, 10 in Fort Smith, 10 in Fayetteville, and 2 in Camp Robinson.
yeah, yeah, really, yeah. So it's not it's not just uh, officers, county officers from the sheriff's department being deputized. Now it's also National Guard troops as well. Uh, Irvin, what's the problem with 287G? Why wouldn't we want local
Mhm.
law enforcement officers to be checking on someone's documentation?
Well, I mean, a lot of the times the people that they stop are people that haven't committed any kind of violent, or you know how like sometimes they'll say like we're looking for the violent criminals or the
Yeah,
folks that have created some sort of like sexual crime or anything like that. Most of the time it's not those people.
yeah.
Most of the times it's someone that's undocumented that was trying to get to work or was driving home from work or picking up the kids that kind of fall in that program and get end up getting arrested, and they don't have the resources and end up getting sent to Louisiana, because most of the folks from that get detained in Arkansas in general, they go to Louisiana, they get taken to the detention centers over there.
Hmm.
So, and then not even counting like the individuals who are scared to call police whenever they're
Hmm.
going through some sort of emergency themselves, because they fear that if they call police, some way they might end up in ICE detention.
Hmm.
We've heard that from women in our community. We've heard that from situations with kids.
Yeah.
So it creates, even a bigger like um divide with the trust that immigrants have for agencies, for institutions that they should have some sort of trust in, right? That they should be able to rely on for different situations. Um, and I think that our biggest thing is not only just that part, but I think the biggest part is just the people that fall in the cracks, that are not violent people,
Hmm.
that end up getting deported because of these programs.
Yeah.
And the racial profiling aspect by itself should be
Yeah.
a red flag, right?
Yeah.
That people can
Well,
get.
which the Supreme Court has now said is, it's totally fine. Yeah, go ahead. It's just
So there's
and
there's
and
different
and
factors.
frankly, the Supreme Court has said that because there's a law in the books that allows that. When it comes to immigration law enforcement. Yeah. So it's very troubling.
Yeah, there's different factors as to why it's troubling, and it just kind of feels like with the National Guard announcement as well, that and then with the Supreme Court announcement decision yesterday, it just kind of feels like things are becoming even more difficult just to exist,
Yeah.
as people of color, as brown people, and we don't know what it looks like. So what we need to do as an organization is try to educate people on the rights.
Yeah.
And because even though sometimes rights don't matter, sometimes where
Hmm.
people are just taken without a warrant or without even presenting their badge as ICE officers, we've seen a lot of situations where rights do matter. So that's why we try to tell people, like, still educate yourself on these, make sure that people present a warrant if someone shows up to your house and wants to take you. have them show it through the window, have them send the warrant underneath the door, make sure it's signed by a judge. Do not open your door if it's not a signed warrant.
Yeah.
So that is still making a difference today.
Yeah. When people hear about this and they are concerned, they want to do something. What can people do? What can your average Arkansan who cares about this, who's concerned about the expansion of 287G and its impact on our neighbors, what can somebody like me do? What can the average person do?
Reach out to your county sheriffs. Ask them, to not sign up to any of the most risky options of those 287G programs. Obviously, they're being forced to, right? They have to sign to one. They have to sign up for one of the three. Ask them to sign up for the warrant program, and then also reach out to your police departments of your city and make sure you get a confirmation from them that they're not going to try to sign up to any of these 287G programs that they don't have to sign up to, and also make sure that you educate yourself on the rights that people have, because even as a U.S. citizen, you can go through like a know your rights training and learn how to properly protect your immigrant neighbors and your friends, right? Donate to immigrant rights organizations. That's important. And then also, we have a program, for example, where we've created a network of about 140 people that are wanting to show up to immigration check-ins in Little Rock just to support people that are scared of going by themselves. So if you want to sign up for that program, you can just email us at ida.arkansas@gmail.com, and we'll follow up with you so you can get to one of the trainings where we'll teach you how to properly support immigrants. And if you just want to get involved with an organization, there's an organization called Ally in Benton County, which is a group of allies that love immigrants, that support immigrants, and that care about immigrants. And they're organizing right now to see how they can best support immigrants in Northwest Arkansas. So that's a program, a group to plug into if you're just an ally that wants to support in some way.
If people want to find Ara, where can they do that?
We're on Instagram and we're on Facebook. Just look up IDE Arkansas, and you'll see our logo there.
Yep.
Send
And
us
it's
a message with
spelled
any kind of query.
AIRE.
Correct. The Alliance of Immigrant Respect and Education, AIRE, which is it means air in Spanish.
Yeah. Very good. Irvin, thank you for the work that you're doing. It's so tremendously important now more than ever. I'm sorry you have to do it, quite frankly, but I'm proud of you for what you do, and I'm glad that you could spend a couple of minutes with us today explaining this and also letting folks know how they can get plugged in to help.
Of course, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for always supporting the work that we're doing, and here to educate people on whatever kind of information they may need in regards to what immigrants are going through right now. And hopefully, people watching today can go ahead and support us and reach out to us in social media.
Great. Thanks, Irvin.
Thank you.
Boy, so appreciate Irvin and the work that he does here in District 3. You can check out, he's got a podcast called the District 3 Podcast that you ought to check out. You should also find Ere on social media and follow and be a part of the work that they're doing. So tremendously important. If you want to understand a little bit better what our immigration system looks like and the mess that it is, I've put together a resource for you. And you can find it at robforcongress.com/maze. It's Rob, R-O-B-B, two B's, robforcongress.com/maze. And there you can download a free guide which helps you understand America's immigration maze, the bottlenecks, the backlog, the broken promises. It shines the light of truth on what the process really is and the lie that we're told when, well, people should just come the right way. Well, this explains the truth of what the right way really is and how it is designed to make things as difficult, as complicated, as long, as discouraging as possible. So far from the vision of America being this shining city on a hill. So check that out. And as always, follow along with my campaign for Congress. here in Arkansas's 3rd District, check out robforcongress.com, and especially to get that free resource, robforcongress.com/maze. Thank you so much.